Well, welcome everyone to our elevation call on this July 24th. Can you believe we're almost toward the end of the summer?
What do they call this? The armpit of the summer right now?
Maybe so.
Yeah, I think it is.
But this is our elevation call, as you guys know, and you've look at Susan. We're thrilled to see your faces. It seems like it's been a while since our last call. And what we're doing in this call is helping elevate health, also helping elevate our personal growth, our team growth, and then also our income. And so I'm going to have Hal just kind of start with a recap of the leaderboard.
All right, let's hit the leaderboard really quick. Got some cool stuff happening on our Zalise leaderboard. So coming in at number 13, this is on the enrollment leaderboard. And so that's everything from wholesale to now, what's that called? Platinum kids. At number 13, Steve and Jenny Todd at number 13. And very familiar with the leaderboard. Hal and Lisa are at number 10. Those are from our Florida people.
That's right.
I know, I guess. And then Kristen Olander, Kristen and Eric at number 7. And first time ever, number 1 on all of Zalise leaderboard, drum roll, please. First time ever on number 1 in all of Zalise leaderboard. And we hope that she finishes the month there. Beth Plumley. Beth and Greg.
Northwest Arkansas
Beth
in the
Greg
house.
Plumley, Northwest Arkansas.
Whoop,
and we're gonna, so let's jump off of that and then jump back over there. Okay, so let's go over to the personal volume group. And so we've got 5 there. So Hal and Lisa are at number 21. Linda Lusk out of Tulsa, Oklahoma. Then Mary Rising out of Indiana. And Steve and Jenny Todd at number 7. And then Wright Parkway Dental, which of course are the Welches, Susan Welch in Florida. So they're at number 5. So awesome. That's 7 on the personal volume side. And on the enrollment side, which is really primarily where, that's where you're adding people into the program, trying products for the first time, or enrolling to build business. So congratulations. So, hey, Beth, can you come on, you and Greg?
Yeah, we're on.
Hi, guys.
There's Moon Jumper.
There you are.
I made it, thanks to my doctor.
Solved.
Are they still going?
They're gone.
We had a little case of hiccups that
We're not
Hal
going to go. We
Henson,
don't have time for all that.
Hal Henson cured by phone. But we're so glad you're on, Greg. And
Thanks.
it's really, you guys are very consistent on this elevation call. But Beth, you've not been number 1 on the leaderboard before. So tell us what's going on.
What happened?
Well, it's just been kind of crazy. We went to Oklahoma for about a week, and one of our friends who we were staying with, she had told one of her friends at their lake house about me, and she has really bad migraines. So she wanted to get on product. And then we've had 2 people that came on that swore they didn't want any part of it. Or 3 people that swore they didn't want any part of it for like 2 years. And then all of a sudden they decided they wanted to try it. So one was my friend that referred me. She's gotten on for her husband. And then I had one of my dear friends here that has MS, and she and her fiance were like dead set against it. He said, I don't want anything to do with it. I met them for dinner yesterday, and we were talking about real estate, and then got to talking about some health issues. And he said, I'm all over it. I said, you didn't want anything to do with it 2 years ago. And he just started laughing. So they signed up. So it's been just kind of an amazing month.
So you've had 4 enrollments this month, right?
3 this month and 1 at the end of last month.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here's what's really cool on that. All of those people knew both of your stories a little bit, right?
Yes.
Pretty much. Y'all were in Oklahoma. Greg's from Tuttle, Oklahoma. He's a big OU fan and a Razorback fan.
Baby.
But y'all were over there. Greg, what were you doing over there?
I had promised my wife a farm table. About 3 years ago, I said, when we get our new house built and it's done and everything, I'll start the process of making her a farm table. And it's taken me a little while to get it done, but it's now done and in our house, and absolutely better than what I ever imagined. It's just gorgeous.
It's
So-
a beautiful table. We got to help y'all move it in.
Yes, you did. Thank you.
Let's just talk for a second, just to remind people, Beth, you had some history with migraine headaches, and that's
Yes.
kind of been a big part of your story, right? That and seizures,
Yes.
right? And then once, of course, the way the story goes is you met Lisa at a bakery here in town, and within 10 minutes, she said, open your mouth, and she poured CBD in your mouth, right?
And CBG.
And CBG. And then just a little while later, we met Greg. The four of us met for dinner at a Mexican restaurant, and Greg was gray, health-wise. He was just not functioning hardly. And so we got introduced this to Greg. Greg, tell us, in about 2 minutes, tell us where your journey's been, how you got to the point that, one, you could get the house done, and two, you could, in over 100-degree weather, build out that farm table for Beth.
Yeah, it was a long journey, Hal. For about 2 or 3 years, I don't know what was wrong. No doctors could explain it, nothing. But I was kind of sick all the time. No energy, no nothing, no ambition, I just nothing. I was great. I was nothing. Beth started on the CBD and CBG, got me started on it. Long story short, about a year later, I had a lot to do with building our house. I feel wonderful. I can do things. Like I said, I just finished the farm table. And it's just helped me in so many areas and ways. It's just incredible. I've gotten off a lot of pharmaceutical meds. I can go to the mailbox and back and get my own mail now. So I'm doing good. I literally couldn't do that a couple of years ago. So.
And Greg, you have had type 1 diabetes since you were 5 years old. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
And so I wasn't sure, this is all new to all of us. When you started on this, I didn't know how effective it could be for someone with type 1 diabetes, but your endocrinologist has expressed surprise. So tell us just a little bit about what your doctor has said.
Totally amazed. I started out with about probably a 8.0 A1C. That's the way they measure your blood sugars average for a 3-month period. Started the CBG, started feeling better for 1, which made me a little more active for 2, but it has lowered my A1Cs. My last A1C was 6.1. My doctor said, "Did you change anything?" And I said, "Well, no." And I said, "Well, yeah, I did. I went from CBD to a product that we have now called Glow." And I said, "It's got a little more oomph, a little more good stuff in it, like 3 times the CBD." And she was just amazed. She goes, 6.1 for a diabetic of about 55 years, type 1, she said, is not her. It just don't happen. That just don't do that. She was amazed. And so far I'm still carrying an average of about 6.1, 6.2. Just all of my labs, she's just so flabbergasted by it that it's made a world of difference in the way I feel, the way I approach things, the way I look at things. It's a totally new world for me than it was 2-3 years ago. So I appreciate this product, and I will never, ever get off of it.
Well, so, we jumped from, we talked about the leaderboard and you guys being on the leaderboard, and you've seen, 3 enrollments just this month, which when you think about, we're really in the time of the year that most direct selling companies, hardly anybody's doing anything. So anybody doing anything is significant, but what's really, you guys have really become people who just more, that people who in your world are watching you, observing what you're doing with your business, what this is doing for your health. Was it a 3-month solution, or now is it a 2 or 3 year solution? And I think for a lot of this, I just hope this is encouraging for everyone. I want to honor you guys for what's happened this month. But you're a good example of really what this is about. Take the products you believe in, share it with people. If they say no, it's their loss for now, and that's fine, but they may come back later and want to know more, or act like they didn't ever hear about it before. It's like, act like they didn't turn you down 2 years ago, but you jump right back in and start taking the products. But the other thing that's happened for you, Beth, especially, and we're going to shift to that right now, is that you've been working with Lisa on kind of a new way of presenting, breaking it down into the 3 parts that we have been working on to create an intro to now with travel, but also really with health, what the ECS is, how cannabinoids impact the body. And you kind of leave it with that. It's like, what do we have that you need in your life? So with health, that's kind of the intro piece. Now that we've added travel, it's like, and we're going to bring Jennifer Seibert on here in just a second, who has had a really neat story for her that she can share as a story for us. But it's something for her that she did really simply just to introduce people to our platform and what we have with Travelology and Voyager Lifestyle. But the point is that are you more comfortable, Beth, with the presentation model we're using now?
Yes, absolutely, I am.
Why do you say that?
It's just, it doesn't seem, I don't want to say salesy, but it's just more comfortable. It's just a little easier to present, just breaking it down. And then I can get a feel for what people are interested in, because my friends yesterday that signed up, and I did, you were right, it was 4 people. I forgot I had a customer sign up too. Yeah. But it was just easier for me to talk about. I talked about the ECS, and they were looking it up and everything, and it was just a very casual conversation. So
yeah, good. The other, and Lisa's going to talk about that in a minute, but kind of the health, the ECS, the product side, the basics of the product side, not all the products, just the basics of it, is one part of this kind of intro overview. Now we've added travel, and the travel conversation can also be an intro conversation. Just this week, I did a presentation to our small business collaborative here in Farmington on travel. I was invited to be the guy who teaches people about travel. Well, we had several people at the end of what was supposed to be 15 minutes, and it was 18, something like that. Overview of travel. We had several people say, yeah, send me one of your discount things, or send me your whatever you call that thing that you told us about up there on your little whiteboard. And so it got the conversation started. Intro said, yeah, please send me that. But I want Jennifer Seibert to come on and share with us, or I think one of our first in this group anyway, really neat travel agent stories, success stories. So Jennifer, can you come on? Thanks, Greg. Thanks, Beth.
We might come back to y'all, so don't go.
Don't go away.
Hi, guys.
There's Jennifer.
Well, thank you for having me on. I'm really excited. Hurried to get here. And I'm excited to hear Hal and Lisa, your new intro. Because Roger and Mary Ellen and I have been talking about that too. So I'm
We'll talk about-
excited to hear about that. So I haven't finished my school, but I'll be done by the end of the week with my accreditation for the travel. And I had the idea the other day, my daughter and her husband were taking a trip next week. And I just said, will you look at this? When do you have a time frame for if you could cancel and come with me if I can beat their price? And I said, plus you would get rewards if you do it. So they said, well, look at it and let me know. Well, I looked it up and they're going to Pensacola, Florida. And the same hotel, which was the Margaritaville Hotel, which is a higher end hotel. I'm bringing up the reservation right now. I saved them $321 and I got them a beach view, which they didn't have. And they earned 3,121 reward points.
Wow.
For switching. So it just blew me away. Number one, not only can they travel to their hotel that their destination was going to be at, but if we know anybody that already has a reservation is what I was thinking, because a lot of us book out if we're going to schedule a vacation. So if we know anybody that has a vacation, say, let me look at it. Let's look at this to see if it can save you money. So to me, it's a no lose situation. You have nothing to lose by looking at it. And once they save the money, you don't even have to, I sent them a boomerang, but you didn't even have to do that. Even the voucher for the hotel, they've already saved $321. So it got me to thinking with that, well, you know what? Everybody's going to get a card for birthdays, for every gift, for wedding gifts, whatever it is, they're getting a card. And I'm just going to find out, I'm going to start asking people, do you have travel book? Will you look at it and let's see if we can save you money?
That's a great question.
That is great. Now, let me ask you this, Jennifer, did you earn a commission on that?
Well, what I ended up doing with Kelly and Mike is that I was signed up under myself, when we go to assign the accounts. Yeah. So what I did for them right now, because it had to be done by today, I put them underneath me. I put Mike and Kelly underneath me. So those rewards are on both of ours. Okay. But they're going to switch. We're going to switch them and they're going to sign up. We just wanted them to do. So it's worth it to me to get that. I mean, you got the money, for the sell of it. They got the rewards. So
that's great.
I mean,
so you made them part of your, not to confuse you, we're not going to go into detail here, but no. As an agent, you can add one person to your personal account who gets to share the rewards with you. Yes. It can be a child, a business partner, a spouse, another family member. It can be anyone, and you get to share those points going forward. And that's what you did.
Yes.
But so in that regard, the commission that will come to you, but also the points are available to both of you if either one of you want to use them.
Yes. So this is the fourth time I've used it. I've used it 3 times. I personally already have 831 reward points.
Wow.
And that was 2 hotels and a rental car.
That's awesome.
When you look at that you're already saving money on your reservations and you're getting the rewards for those of us that do travel. And then people said something about air the other day. And I said, look, if you go through and get air travel through, say, American Airlines, and you have an American Airlines credit card, you're getting your frequent flyer miles, you're getting free luggage through American Airlines, and you're getting, if they use your program, it's a win for everybody. You show them how to save money, so they're going to come to you because you have the information. you know?
So, okay, so this is perfect. One, that's a very exciting story. You shared that through text with us this week, and we're like high-fiving each other because one, you did it, like somebody actually did it, which is like, is this going to work? You saved your family money, you earned points, everything that we had hoped would happen on a nice trip like this happened.
Yeah.
And so that's like giving someone or selling someone a month's supply of Ultracell Glow or a CBD CBG, and at the end of the month they come back to you and say, I'm feeling better. This has happened for me. This has happened for me. I'm so excited. I'm ready to get some more.
Yeah.
And so when you have those two kind of events happen in the platform of Zalease, so the health story, the travel story, the saving story, all of those we now see as stories that fit within basically phase one of a presentation opportunity. And we give the basics. We give a quick overview. We do not dive into, and here's this, and here's this, and here's this. This is, let's get them to the door of the store. Let's walk them through the door with a good experience. And then once they've done that, in travel, you take them through and say, you let me look at it. Here's what we have to offer. Here's what can happen. With the health side, it's here's the science, here's the cannabinoids. What are your personal needs? What would you need? What would you want to see happen if we did a personal health consultation with you? And so it addresses what Lisa calls managing the wicked five, right? And so that's pain management. Where is it, Lisa?
Pain, gut, brain health, sleep, and weight loss.
Yeah. So without going into all of this, I don't know how much you want to do. We've got.
Can I say one thing?
Yeah,
sure,
please go ahead,
absolutely.
Jennifer.
Mary Ellen and Roger and I were talking the other day about how to introduce both of them. And we thought, well, if you're inviting people for travel, how do you incorporate Zalease, the health side? So we thought about saying, well, at the very onset, say, well, who is Zalease? You're here with travel and we're affiliated of Zalease. Well, this is Zalease. They health, wellness. This is the products they have. If you're interested about that, we can touch base with that. I don't know what I'm anxious to hear your side so that it gives them the benefit of hearing about who's Zalease and the CBD.
Let me just hang on.
Well, so we're all on the same page with this. I was looking to see if Brian Welch was on.
I think he is.
Brian's
Susan,
here.
We
Brian's
are.
here. We're
Hey,
here.
Brian.
Watching.
Hey, real quick, we talked about this. You guys were traveling 2 weeks ago, I think, when we talked about what you said to me at the break of the first summit, of the first Phoenix Summit, where we've mentioned this before, and just a good place to bring it back up. When you talk about health and now travel and other things, how did you describe what you saw as Zalease as a platform for opportunity?
Am I unmuted here?
I'm putting you on the spot, bud.
That's okay. I just make sure you can hear me. Can y'all hear me?
Oh yeah, we can hear you. Coming in loud and clear.
Okay, well, I'm not by far not the expert right now because we've been so busy. It's been difficult around here. But for everybody on the call, due to so many things going on, I think everybody could use Zalease is just opportunity. That's what Zalease is. I mean, it's all, if you look at everything under an umbrella of opportunity, those are all the things that you can talk to people about, whether it be the travel, whether it be their health, whether it be how to make money, whether it be, I mean, Zalease, what we have is just straight opportunity. So I think what you do is talk to somebody for a while, figure out what they're interested in, and that would be your approach to bring them to Zalease, because that's how I see it. Zalease is not just health and wellness, travel, and all that specific. As a company, it's an opportunity. It just depends on how you want to use it.
That's what you said, just like that. And you were able to repeat it. When you said that, you said it so succinctly. You even had it on a piece of paper and showed it to me. And I was like, Brian, this is like boiling it down to exactly what it is. And then in the end, when you said it's an opportunity and what you choose to do with it is up to you. But in the moment of talking to someone else, it's an opportunity for them to do with it what they need it to do for them, or what they hope to do for them. And so,
But
it's
the other point, Brian, that you made is that by the time you sit down and talk to someone, you're going to know what you're focusing on. So instead of just, in that initial conversation with somebody, saying we have this and we have this and we have this, you've already done the work to help assess whether it's health, whether it's travel. And that's kind of what we have done is we've broken up the whole conversation into kind of 3 pieces. And
that
so
you do it 3 separate times for the most part.
yes. And that's kind of, you guys have seen this on Team Unlimited Learn. We've posted the hemp project part 1 as kind of the health component. The part 1 for travel is a beautiful presentation in the back office. I mean, I could pull it up, but you guys just go look at Voyager and see the PowerPoint that they have in the back office for people who are very specific to travel. It's a great presentation. But what we've also done is we've created a part 2 and a part 3 of the conversation, because once somebody has said, yeah, health is my interest, like Beth has now these new customers and new clients that are using CBD, CBG, Glow. And so she's going to need to have another conversation with them and say, look, now that you're having great results with this product, I want to show you how you can get the most out of Zalise. And that's a step 2 conversation, or a part 2 conversation, because you're going to talk about reward points. You're going to talk about transfer buy. And in that health conversation, the transfer buy is going to include skincare. It's going to include vitamin supplements. It's going to include travel, so that you can kind of introduce them and expand the offering, if you will. We call it Malls Without Walls. That's a step 2 or a part 2 conversation. And then we've also designated the part 3 of that conversation to be the platform, the opportunity of Zalise.
The business type of thing, way to pay for your products with products, build a business, now expanding into not only the products that you're familiar with, but also how many people do you know that travel? There's also that opportunity within this opportunity platform.
And you guys might have seen on the Freedom Calls where Stephen has the CFO talking about inflation. He's talking about side gigs. And it's really just very good economic information about why this opportunity, this platform, this is more than just getting healthy. It's more than just traveling and earning commission. This is really the intersection of health, wellness, travel, and income. And so you could start somebody on a part 1, or you could start somebody on a part 3 if they're a business person. And that's kind of where the reason we have these 3 parts is because we have to duplicate this in order to grow our teams. And from our standpoint, it's very exciting to see all these people, on the leaderboard, even in summer, when people are traveling, et cetera, because it means the system is duplicating, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
It's not just about individuals out there sharing, working. It's about us creating a system that can duplicate with other people.
So we've been working on this a while during the summer, and we were working on it prior to, as most of you know, prior to the launch of Voyager and Travelology. So we had to kind of step back away from it to see how to kind of blend that in, and we're still working on it. And want your help and feedback, just like Jennifer said that her and Roger and Mary Ellen are saying, what's the language? What's the spirit of how we introduce who we are and what we do? And I think if we can get it loaded, there will be the overview that I did on travel to this small business collaborative in Farmington that Beth was at, Lisa was at. And I just did a kind of a whiteboard, an old school whiteboard little presentation. But I talked about Zalise products, because those people are familiar with us being the Zalise hemp CBD people in that group. But now I'm doing travel. So how do those 2 go together? It's like, what are you doing now, Hal? Well, it's not like that with Zalise. I didn't jump out of Zalise to go do another company. What did I do? I took the Zalise platform that we've been building for 5 years and now have added what? A travel piece to it. So we've just expanded who we are within the same company. And so I was able to kind of lightly mention the hemp CBD products that people were familiar with in our group, and then shift into a longer conversation about kind of a quick overview between Voyager and even people who might want to be an agent. I had one lady come up to me and say, I might want to talk with you about being an agent with this thing. So that happened, and there were probably 12 people there, maybe not even that many. So we need your help in this conversation. Help us fashion the words to come up with part one, especially, I think. We want your feedback, your thoughts, your ideas on that. And as you can see, we really what came from Brian several months ago, I have repeated several times, and that's kind of been my North Star on my thinking for how I personally kind of wrap myself around Voyager, being an agent with health and wellness. How do you do all that without it becoming messy? And I think the only way to do it is call it an opportunity, that what you do with it is your decision. And it's kind of been my guiding point for that. So been my true north, I guess you might say. So anyway. So
we've recorded a new part 2, which is actually, if you subscribe to Team Unlimited, you should have that. And that has the, obviously it does talk about travel. We're still waiting before we record the third part, just because, again, that is the platform. It's the opportunity. And so we want to make sure that we have that right, the PowerPoint right before we actually record it. So, I can show you guys just the front part of it, but I think what you think we're good for now?
Yeah, we're good. Yeah.
Okay. So tonight was really not about, just teaching everybody what the 3 steps are, but they've been floating out there for a while now. We've got the hemp part down really, really well. Part 2 changed with travel. And now part 3 also includes the travel.
But just like in the beginning with health, guys, it started with somebody having a story, and then you hearing it, someone hearing a story, and then having your own experience. Jennifer Seibert just provided for all of us a very significant story from her own experience of how this worked for her. And that's just one. My experience is, we got a hotel on the way to Cocoa Beach in Gainesville, Florida, just because we wanted a place to sleep for a few hours so we could get to our timeshare by 8 o'clock the next morning. Well, I booked a hotel through our Voyager site, saved, I think, $8, but got 170 points. Well, I couldn't have got that any other way. And it was exactly where it said it was. It was a good hotel. It was exactly what we expected. They had our reservation waiting for us, though we got there at midnight. And so to me, that's a smaller version, if kind of like the small stories of a health result, right? Like I'm pooping a little better, I think, And then you got Greg on the other side dropping his A1Cs, right? I mean, that's a big deal. But you've got stories to tell. And Jennifer just delivered this week. I was so excited. I was like, man, this is awesome. This is what we needed to hear. So
absolutely. So guys, if you're not familiar, and if you haven't seen part 1 of the hemp project, that's really the core of what this company has been up till travel. So it's really, really important that there's like 8 slides. It's about homeostasis. It's about the health part. And it doesn't go into, B12 and all the other products. It's very focused on helping somebody achieve homeostasis. And Beth, that's kind of what we were referring to with your success with getting, 4 new enrollments this month, is you were very focused on your story, and also the story of how homeostasis can help other people as well. So the travel part is newer, and that's why I love the question that Jennifer asked is, do you have travel booked already? Let's look at that and see if we can actually save money on that. It's a very simple question.
And if you can't, you call them back and say, hey, I want to congratulate you. You did a great job on your travel. I don't know how you did that. How did you do it? I don't have any idea. Well, I tell you, if you travel again, keep me in mind. I want to help you with that. See if we can save you money next time. I mean, it's just a great
Well, and
single point question.
another thing I learned from Hal's presentation that I honestly didn't know is that when you're new, a new travel agent, it's not like you know how to book trips for other people. So what Travelology offers is 30 years. They have in-house travel agents that if you send people to them, you get 50% of the commission instead of 70% if you did it yourself.
So what I said at the end of my presentation, I said, how many of y'all would book travel with me? And 2 dumb guys raised their hands. Seriously. I was like, really? I just told you I just started. I'm like, I don't think I would book travel with me. But now that however, if it was just me, I probably wouldn't do it. But now I know that you're with a company that has agents you can connect me to who have over 30 years of experience, who y'all are working together to get me the best deal, kind of turning it over to them and working with them to make sure it's all done right. It's not that I don't do anything, right, Jennifer?
Hey, you do a lot.
You do a lot. That's right. But nonetheless, you've got the backing of that company to help you with that. And so, anyway, yeah.
So that was just something that I learned. And so when we think about the opportunity that we have, we're already Zalease ambassadors. And, if we want to just really kind of play in the travel agent side, that's another opportunity that we have to get commissions through Travelology, using other travel agents that are really good at what they're doing and sharing some of the commission, but also at making some of the commission. So in your networking groups, it gives you an opportunity to really, kind of sit in the travel agent spot as well and collect that kind of business on travel money, travel dollars.
Very good. All right, let's
Can I say
wrap.
something?
Yes, please,
do.
Jennifer.
Well, one thing that we've talked about as well is that Mary Ellen's strength is the CBD side, the wellness part. She's got that certification now. And if we can balance that and come out with Roger and I being on the travel side, that interests me exponentially, that balances our team.
Mhm.
That gives us a playing field on both sides.
That's right. Well, and absolutely. And so as we're going forward, a couple of things. Partner with those of us who are in your upline, of course, and your support line, people who are doing both. But also look for a partner. Look for people who are not in Zalease yet, but you think, man, I would love to talk with that person about being someone who might really be interested in travel and partnering with me and joining, and we build Zalease, the opportunity together. And as was said, Brian described it, what you do with it is what you do with it. And Mary Ellen's always going to focus on health, most likely, just like Lisa. But there are other people like you, Jennifer. I mean, all of a sudden, Jennifer's like fired up. Why? Because of travel. Not that you weren't using the products and weren't involved, but all of a sudden, travel opened up the whole new world to you, Patty, as well. These are people who have been around doing the work, doing it, plenty busy with your own businesses, prior. But these are people you partner with. But let's say they weren't in Zalease yet. Let's say it's someone who, somebody in the community that says, I'd love to talk with them about this travel program. Lead with that. Lead with it.
We will.
We've got a whole new lead opportunity.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Thanks, Jennifer.
And you guys, this is really time for I would love to hear from you guys. I mean, Hal and I, we've spent the last 2 weeks kind of traveling, and I think we've seen with Beth as well. When you travel, you're around a whole new group of people, and that's really the reason we're on the leaderboard, is that we've just gotten several new enrollments from people that we've met on the road, on planes, in the pool and aqua aerobics. I mean, we've that's how we've kind of grown our enrollment this month.
Yeah.
So I would love to hear from you guys. What are y'all doing? What are you seeing? Or do you feel like you're beating your head against a wall, or do you feel like you're making some progress?
Mary Ellen.
Mary Ellen.
Yes, I just wanted to echo something Hal said. Our conversation, I know I'm starting the conversation about Zalease very differently now than I did 4 years ago. And what I pretty well tell people now is I'm with Solis. We're a healthy lifestyles company. We've got something for everybody. And then I'll highlight a couple things that I think they would like to hear about. And from there, I decide where the conversation's going to go and what information I'll share and what stories I'll share. So my conversation is totally different, but Voyager has helped me get to that point that is closer to what I think Brian was saying. The opportunities there for everybody. So we have to really be broader with our initial approach. And that's what I've been saying. For me, it just flows. We've got something for everybody. And then I'll rattle off some things. And if it's travel, I talk about Voyager. If it's they like their coffee in the morning, I'll talk about Happy Coffee. So it forces us to take the lead more with listening to what that person has an interest in, and then we move forward. It used to be, we started CBD, that was it. Now we have to broaden our horizons and at least offer up the opportunity for all these other products and businesses and go from there. So, and I love what Jennifer said, this has really worked for us, that we bring the strengths in from our team. We've got half a dozen people on our team that each brings something different to the table. Well, Jennifer, she's way ahead of me. She knows how to get her done if you're looking at a hotel in Pensacola. So we tap into that. If she's fine tuning CBD use, she taps into me. So it really reinforces broadening our horizons and using the whole team to help each other. So I just wanted to reinforce that. That's where I'm at.
Isn't that exciting? I mean, it's exciting to.
Oh, it is. It
So-
is.
Mary Ellen, let me ask you this, just when you have a basic first conversation with someone, how do you lead into that conversation?
Well, it depends on the situation. Like I've had the conversation in the trailer park bathroom in Oregon and signed somebody up, but it was, oh, what do you do? We're drying our hair. What do you do? And the conversation started and it led to health and wellness because it was on that person's mind. And I shared my story and that's the way we went. But if I'm in my networking groups that I try to do more of locally and the trade shows, I'll choose. Like one time I'll lead more with, I have deep discount travel opportunities, you know, or I have gone from a medicine cabinet to a wellness cabinet with supplements that help balance your body. So it just depends on what my purpose is and what the feel is with that person. I go with my gut, but it's more, every conversation starts very casually, not about Zalise. It's what are you doing? And you're hearing what they're doing. Then, have you ever used plant-based supplements? That's how I start CBD conversation. I don't start with CBD usually. It's have you ever utilized plant-based supplements? And then I'll say, well, I've been a nurse for 40 years, and I don't think you have to make the choice, Eastern or Western medicine. You can find the fit for you wherever that's at, and we'll make it work. So tell me what's going on. So it varies with each person. I never have the same conversation twice, but I almost always now say, well, I'm with a company that really focuses on healthy lifestyles, whatever that means for you. It could be supplements. It could be taking time for yourself with travel. We got something for everybody. And then I just listen.
That's awesome,
I don't know
Mary.
if that helps any.
That's good.
It's beautiful. Thank you for that feedback. I'm taking notes on you. Anybody else want to share?
You're welcome.
Any other thoughts? Just really good conversation, because really you guys, the leaderboard is just people who are out there doing it, you know, and take notes on this conversation, because you're gonna meet people wherever you are. Susan Everett, you're really, really good at this as well. I know Susan really focuses a lot on her networking groups, which I think is a really tough audience because they're selling their own stuff.
Yeah, I was
So-
just gonna say one thing one thing about the travel, I don't, I've not gotten knee deep into the travel stuff yet. I know enough about it to know what we offer. And I've always pushed this, the plant-based supplements and that type of stuff, and always come up to head, with the other competing people in the networking groups, and so I have to kind of tread a water with that. But one lady that I know needs our supplements, but I've never gotten her to try our products. We have a meeting scheduled with her this week, to talk about the travel side of it. And so it's, again, it opened a door to her that I've been trying to open, and I couldn't get open. But now I've got that door opened at least to talk to her about travel. And I'm not the expert, so I pulled in my upline to help talk as an expert to that. So it's all part of the team, right?
That's
the way it
awesome,
works.
Susan.
That principle is the principle. I mean, that's what we do. And that's one of the beauties of a good network marketing plan, overall plan or business model that is upline support, downline, reaching out, bringing people in to what you would maybe call a funnel, which isn't necessarily the most personal term, but it is that. But when we're smart about how we make those connections, make that time valuable for the person that you've invited. If you think about, I'm here to serve that person, what's the best way for me to do that? It's many times for them to get available the upline that has some more expertise in helping them with their process of really helping them. So anyway, anybody else have anything?
Questions or comments? I just want to make sure we've seen everybody who's on.
All right, a couple of updates here I want to hit on. We've announced this, and I think it's been talked about. Many of you heard Stephen and Angie on the Freedom Call Monday night, where Stephen told the whole Zalise world on the Freedom Call about Angie's accident and the burn that happened on Father's Day. We've had a little communication with Angie today, and seems to be in pretty, good spirits, very responsive to us today, which is kind of neat because you may perceive that we have a lot of communication with Angie, but we don't. It's mostly with Stephen, but it was nice to communicate with her. So she's progressing, continuing to do so. But with that, for those of you who had made any plans or thoughts about mid-September for Fall Fest in the Dallas area, that's not going to happen. We don't have any details about what might happen in the fall for some event like that. But it's just, conversation, but wanted to let you know that mid-September date is open and available for you to do whatever, build your business or plan something or whatever, go to a ball game or do whatever. So that's that. The other thing is that for several weeks now, we've had prayers and, for one of our fellow Zalise partners, Ed Keller. And I can tell you that Lisa and I made a point to get to stop and see Ed, took her to our girls, my daughter and her friend who went with us to Florida. And Ed actually, believe it or not, after all of his treatments and all that, had us stop in Shalimar, Fort Walton area, had dinner with him. We stayed with him. Our girls, actually, of all the places we went in all of Florida that week, they loved his house, his little private beach, his location, his kitchen, his everything, better than everything else we did. But we got to spend some really wonderful time with Ed that night. The next morning, he seems to be doing well. We don't know for sure where he is with it, but I tell you, he's such a good guy, such a wonderful faith filled man. Yeah. So loving. It was like he'd never missed a beat. And so we're really grateful for where he's at right now.
And thanks to Jenny and Steve and Susan and Brian for
introducing us to
Ed.
And so anyway, keep praying for him. He's not out of the woods yet, but we're just believing for a great outcome for him because he's a really good guy. So
Also prayers, I know Angela Noble is on this call and she's just been a trooper, but prayers lifted for Angela just to get out of the hospital and get back in the land of the living again. So you guys are like our family, and when one person suffers, we all suffer with you.
don't want to alarm anyone on that. She's just had some up and down things that it's safer for her to be under the watchful eye of the doctors. Believe me, she's feisty enough to get out of there right now. It ain't like she's ready to go, but they're saying, no, we can keep an eye on a couple of things here. So
Yeah. Any other questions, thoughts, anything we missed? Well, thank you so much, Beth and Greg, for sharing, and for Jennifer Seibert for being our travel agent that had some great news for us. You guys mean the world to all of us, and we look forward to seeing you on the Freedom Call Monday night.
So by the way, on the Sunday night presentations, Tuesday night, Thursday night presentations, on the Zalise world of presentations, we're encouraging, and we have the Ziliacs, we have Steve and Jenny Todd, but there's a few more of you who are going to be showing up, area and above, on those presentations. So we want our team to be watching Zalise University for the announcements of presenters, and not just to support them to be on that call, but invite people to listen into those calls as we kind of move forward with these presentations.
Yeah.
So anyway.
All right, that's all we got. Oh, Mary, did you have a comment?
It's kind of unrelated. I was just opening a bottle of raw. And honestly, there's stuff here that looks like you just cleaned out a sewer pipe. Has anybody had this before?
Yes, we have. It's
Plant matter.
plant matter. So this
I
comes
mean,
from plant.
it looks like what you clean out of a bad pipe. It doesn't have
If
the color that it normally does. It's like
Yeah, we're
sludge.
familiar with it.
this happened, I don't know, a year ago, where we had a couple of raw consumers that got plant matter in their product. They're really great just to replace the product. So just call support.
So I know what it looks like, but it's not
It's not
bad
sewage.
stuff. It's not anything like that. It just looks like it.
Honey.
It-
Sorry, cheeky pup.
Oh, so all you have to do is make contact. They're glad to replace it.
Yeah,
They'll
just
have a
call
protocol
support.
for you to follow.
They'll want to see a picture, and then they'll want the order number, and if you have it, and then they'll
Yeah.
replace it for you.
Yeah, I've
So-
had plenty of being clogged up in the tubes before, but I've never had it like sitting on the outside, and it just
Well,
kind of freaked.
We've heard
If
of
it just
few,
happened, I figure I've got a whole room of people. I might as well ask.
yeah, no, I mean, it's not very common, but we've definitely heard a few people that had it, but it's been a long time. So I would call support. Anytime you guys find a product that has any problem with it, any product with Zalise, you got to call support. We used to fix those things just ourselves because we'd have an extra dropper. We would just put a different one in. And it's really important for them to monitor the quality of the product. So just call support. Good question.
So Brian says when he got a bottle like that, he just took it for all the stuff he's ate in the desert when he's been deployed, like whatever.
That's what I'm,
It's just plant matter.
it's just plant matter. I mean, you know, it's like,
Okay.
do you eat salad? Yeah, you eat salad. That's what it is. It's from the plant, but it doesn't
I know
look
that-
very
I know
good.
that's